Welcome. Happy Monday, everybody. It's time for Make HOAG Money. Markets already putting up new highs already. I know it's going to be kind of hard for us to find opportunities, but we are going to do our best. This is the CFTC disclaimer. It states that lots of risk in futures trading. These are leveraged products. You do run the risk of losing more than your initial investment. We should only be using risk capital, which is money that we can afford to lose. We're risking my capital today. These are your trade ideas. This is for educational purposes only. We're not suggesting the purchase or sale of anything that we do here today for anybody else. Of course, there's no past performance that is indicative of future results. And we're just going to see what we see here today. And again, it's for educational purposes only. The rules for Make HOAG Money are, of course, kindness and respect are expected above everything. There's always differences of opinions in markets. It's what makes them so good. You're going to have a couple of people, hopefully, that will allow themselves to be enabled to talk. We're all going to be involved in the decisions. And, of course, context of those decisions that you bring are going to be important. If you are unable to speak, you will be able to share your charts and talk about the trades that you were thinking about taking. We are going to use the chat rooms in YouTube and on the Zoom meeting to discuss trades. Those of you in the Zoom meeting will have the opportunity to vote for those trades. We're going to be focusing on the E-mini S&Ts for the time being for opportunities. We're not going to trade, of course, just trade, and we are not going to be taking losing trades, which is, of course, a joke. We know that losses are part of trading. We're just going to try and keep them small and see if we can end the session today positive. Feedback about Make HOAG Money is, of course, appreciated and expected. If you have feedback about how we can improve Make HOAG Money, please email me personally at jhoagland@topstep.com. That's JHOAGLAND at topstep.com. Looking forward to seeing what we've got going on today. Here is the platform. We are extending the range to the upside. To be honest with you, to me, the way the market's been acting today, it's almost like the old days when there was no news, the market would just kind of grind higher, and that seems to be what it's doing today, just kind of eating shorts. We are in range through the value area from Friday, looking like it's, the market's just kind of one-time framing higher on what we have no idea. We know we've got lots of information, lots of important economic information tomorrow and for Wednesday and Thursday. Market really just kind of wandering through all of this data and information. We've got weekly kickoff low here, 38.30. We've got a ways to go before we're going to be looking at anything down there. There's 38.30. Last week's low here. Last week's high up here. Relatively close to this. Matter of fact, I'm going to just make that last week's high, last week's low. Here's the S&Ps. Last week's low. Just getting caught up on the charts here, it seems. Last week's high. Right about there. We're right in the middle of it. Right in the middle of everything, really. The market just continuing to push to the upside. Ocean Blue, you may be right. I mean, today we may be out of luck to try and find any big opportunities. Where does it have us thinking? It has us thinking, well, I don't want to buy it here. It's the high of the day. And I don't necessarily want to sell it because it's been one time framing higher all day. Lacey girl, easy girl, easy. That's my dog. She was upset about something out in front. Probably somebody walking a dog and she's not out there. If If anybody wants to join me and discuss the trades today, you're more than welcome to. It's good to see Ocean Blue. Haven't seen you in a while. Lee B, trade in. Good to see you. You were long till now. Jimmy Decker wants to make me some money. I like that. Ben W, lots to like. Thank you very much. Naguru. You know, we're going to see what we can do here today. It's good to see everybody. Good afternoon, Bradley. Travis, Caesar. That is December. You are correct. I've got to change everything over to the March contract. Joe D, Vince, good afternoon. So let's do that. Let's go forward here. March. We don't have to today, but I'm just going to be consistent here and move into the March contract. Yeah, it is hard to sell today, right? Lacey. Is he crying about something? March. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out again. I just opened the platform before we went into the Make HOAG Money. This is just one of my accounts. In March. Let's move these to March as well. Roll forward. Roll forward. And roll forward. Move these forward. I have a feeling my son is home. That's why she's crying, because he's out in the driveway finishing up his day. So here's the profile. The March. Here we go. Oh, you got a few vids, Joe. Let's see here.
Options are driving stocks. My name is Brent Kachuba, and I am the founder of SpotGamma. I have spent decades researching the options markets, first in New York City at the headquarters of institutional banks, then at one of the world's largest options market makers, and lastly, as a buy-side investor at family offices.
So these are some videos for us to watch.
Having executed billions of dollars in trades with...
I'm going to grab them all so I can watch those.
My name is Brent Kachuba, and I am the founder of SpotGamma. This video will teach you how you can make money using the founder's note. Options are driving stocks. My name is Brent Kachuba, and I am the founder of SpotGamma. I have spent decades researching the options markets, first in...
All right, now I've got them. All right, so I can watch those later. Thank you very much, Joe. Don't forget, tomorrow we do have special guest Anne-Marie Band with us tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow's Make HOAG Money will be at 9:30 Central versus about 8:20 right after the market forecast. I'll, of course, remind everybody of that. But I know we're all very excited to have Anne-Marie with us tomorrow. Boy, oh boy. We just got JD, good afternoon. Just got some rambunctious market here today. Here's last week's high, including overnight sessions. All the way through yesterday's range, Friday's range, I should say, through value. So what do we do here, folks? Joe, I see your hand up. I'm going to promote you to panelist. if that's what you want. Can we tell stories? No trading, just tell stories. Oh, man. Apparently CPI leaked. That's an interesting concept there, Jan. Hey, Joe, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I
Good.
dropped those links in there. They're 4-minute videos. It's a good introduction to the influence that gamma/options have on the market today. It's a huge notional value in the SPX and the SPY.
Thank you very much for that.
And that's kind of anticipation because I know Anne Marie uses those levels, uses that service. So to the extent that she wants to talk about it or anyone has any questions, then perhaps those videos will inspire some dialogue.
Awesome. Thank you very
I already
much.
sent a question into her, but you did have a provision for questions.
Yes.
After, and I did send a question.
Awesome.
To her. So that's available for anyone who wants to send her some questions ahead of time.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. What do we do with this? Think we're just going to keep grinding higher?
Well, we just hit the regular trading hour high a day.
Mm-hmm.
We just broke Friday's high a day just now.
Just now, right here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't see anything, but that doesn't mean there's not a trend.
Right. Right. Yeah, this is I mean, it's kind of high to buy it. What is creating this move to the upside? Is it just the fact that there's no information and we've gone back to just a day of grinding higher and eating shorts all day?
Well, you have a lot of stops, I think, above Friday's big sell-off, and we could be running those stops. The other thing is there could be some gaming of a positive news tomorrow.
Positive news in the CPI.
Don't we have a big announcement tomorrow? Thought we did.
Yeah, we have CPI tomorrow.
That's huge.
Right.
So there might be gaming that.
Right. The last CPI was positive and we tanked.
Right.
Because there was a lot of expectation for higher and longer lasting interest rates.
Well, I think this is a big stop run myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is real buying, but there could be some people that are bullish on the announcement tomorrow. But the other thing is, it's 3 o'clock ish, 3:15,
right?
And we've had a big run here in the last half hour, so therefore you've got some stops underneath this that might get run between now and 4 o'clock. So
yeah, that's what I'm.
Keep an eye out for a stop run the other way going into tomorrow.
We've had negative delta all the way up until now. Now it's finally positive delta. This tells me we've gotten so aggressive to the upside. Maybe you're right. Maybe we got a bunch of stops. Let's vote on this. Do we think maybe the high is in and we can take a short against the current high? We'll just take a look at this. We can vote on that now. What's the high? 13. We've got a lot of folks thinking this might be a good idea. I've already put an order in 2 points below the high of the session, and I've got to stop just above the high of the session, just kind of throwing up there just to get something in there. Here's the micros. There's our entry. There's our stop. 70% participation. We've got 79% like the idea. LK says high is in, short. Ocean Blue says long. Well, we're going to see if we get filled here. So we got 79% like this idea, so we'll see if we can get a fill up here. We are getting kind of late.
You know, you have a swing, a significant swing at 407, 07 area. And if we could break that, doesn't look like we're going to do it right now, but that's for sure. But if we could break that and then retrace back to it, that's the kind of short I'd be looking for.
Understood. We're just kind of leaning against the current high of the day so far. So we're short at 11. High is 13. I'm going to put the stop up here at 15.25. And we'll see what happens. I think it's worth the risk. If we get a pretty decent pullback, we could easily get 2-to-1 on this just to close out these single TPOs.
So your stop is how many ticks above the high?
8. Think that's enough to run the stops? I think we're a little bit early for a pullback, but we'll see. We got the vote.
You can't go against the vote.
That's right. Stephen Carlson on YouTube is saying that there is a Fed survey that came out today that said consumers are optimistic that inflation will ease. And there were multiple naked volume point of controls daily that were taken out today. Vince says we need a recount. Wondering why the DX, why the dollar index is quiet. ES must be running stops. Sure seems like it, right? Jan is saying maybe a test of Friday's value area high right up here just for a pullback. That would put us down below your 4,007 level. JM NASDAQ is not so strong, as it has been weaker over time. See, we're getting more positive delta here. Up to 900 now. You see we've had negative delta all day long until now. We're bucking the trend here, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm thinking, Vince. We got maybe a whole bunch of new longs up here that may run out of juice. Who knows?
Yeah, that probably stops.
Mm-hmm. Joe, how was your weekend?
A great weekend. Family.
Nice. Mine was kind of quiet. Got most of the Christmas presents wrapped. Played Santa at a holiday party for my wife and her friends. That was fun. Got a nice Santa suit.
Do you put the suit on? Are you the Santa Claus?
I am Santa Claus, yep.
And what does your wonderful pooch think when you put the uniform on?
Actually, she seems really kind of into the whole Christmas thing. We've got a little stretchy collar that she puts on. It's got jingle bells on it. She loves running around with that thing on because it makes noise. She sleeps like under the Christmas tree. I think that's because she thinks she's God's gift.
Does she know who you are?
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering about that. I thought maybe she'd growl at me a little bit, but no, she didn't. She just ran some stops up above the previous high here.
Yeah.
Got a little liquidity here at 15, huh? And we're out. See, never buck the trend, right? Ephraim, you must love your wife a lot. Yeah, it was fun.
Now, will you hold Christmas at your house, or do you go to your brother's house?
Historically, since we've had kids, we've always had like Christmas Eve here, and then we would go to like mom's house, or we'd have it like my wife's family here, and then we'd go to my family up in Wisconsin. But there's only my brother and my other brother left up there, and they're doing their own thing. My little brother's probably gonna go to buy his in-laws, which they're out in Boscobel, Wisconsin, which is out almost in Iowa. So we'll just be here. Just going to be our little family here.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should have cannonballed the other way. The thing is, just keeps going.
Well, there was somebody in the stream that was long. Can't remember who.
Ocean
that was.
blue.
Yeah, that's right.
Long, and they're all in. They said.
Yeah. Well, tip of the hat to him.
No, nice job.
Boy, they're running the stops from last week.
Well, do we see if we can't find a pullback and run with them? It's getting pretty late.
We got the MOC coming up. Another 15, 20 minutes. I need a break of structure before I get interested
Yeah.
in a short.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just looking at, the high from Friday and coming back inside of it, but that was a worthwhile risk, but didn't work out.
One of a million trades.
Yep.
Right,
Long to Friday's overnight high. Boy, oh boy, that's that 30 level. Somebody was mentioning that. Where was that?
HOAG, was it difficult for you to make the transition from the floor to electronic trading?
I think it was difficult for everybody, but by the time in 2009 when I stepped out of the pit, I had had enough friends that had like gone before me that proved how difficult it was really going to be. I don't think that they planned on a whole new learning curve once they stepped out of the pit. I think they thought they were just going to be able to step on screen and continue to be successful, and the vast majority of them found that it was not going to be the case. So I'd seen a lot of them, step out of the pit and then just give up trading for a while. So I knew it was going to be an unlearning and a relearning process. So I, in essence, gave myself a year to be able to not count on what I was seeing in the pit and to be able to see what I was looking for on screen. So it was a year really before I started taking live trades on screen. I had a mistrust of the electronics. I didn't trust electronic trading, I think, at the very beginning, but I've always been kind of mistrusting of computers and electronics and the connection and all of that stuff. So there was, I'm an old caveman, Joe. Your newfangled machines frightened and confused me. So I knew that there was going to be, a learning curve that I was going to really have to limit my risk certainly at the very beginning, because I didn't want to blow myself out in 3-4 weeks like I'd seen so many people do.
Now, were you using the profile in the pit?
Yes.
So that must have helped you.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. I'm pretty sure that if I hadn't accrued the knowledge of the profile prior to stepping out of the pit, I never would have made it.
Did you know any of those traders that were in that famous video that was produced about the guys? They were all guys.
Yeah, I knew them all.
They had a difficult time. Some made it, some didn't.
Yep, I knew them all.
You knew them? You
Yep.
knew them all?
Yep. Yeah, there was Rob Prosnewski was the guy that had the Beach Boys album cover painted on the back of his trading jacket. He stood relatively close to me. There were a few guys. Joe Gibbons, the guy that was guzzling the wine, Greg Reba, he was an unbelievable trader, but he kind of lost his mind a little bit. Mike Walsh was one of the guys he was a real complainer.
Yeah, he the one that was really fighting the transition. All he did was look at the negative side, and it's you can't trade electronically, and bemoaning instead of half a glass empty kind of guy.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he was definitely a downer. Joe Gibbons was kind of a big guy. I don't remember if he was smoking a cigar, but he always smoked cigars. He was a little bit more optimistic, right? He was also a very good trader.
Did he make the transition successfully?
I don't know. There's so many guys that I've lost touch with. There wasn't any. There were very few true friends down there. You had a lot of acquaintances, and you learned from all of them, even the ones that you didn't like.
Well, you're fierce competitors.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, and they were a lot of fun down in the bar, but in the pit, they'd sooner cut your throat than do anything to help you. Other than just a select few people that I try and keep in touch with from time to time, but a lot of them are doing something else. A lot of them are trading on their own and just kind of quiet and doing their thing.
Of course, you wouldn't cut anyone's throat in the pit.
No, unfortunately, that is true. I probably would be a much better off than I am had I been that way. But there isn't anybody in the pit that would tell you that I ever stole or did anything to advantage myself.
Yeah.
So I was always a very fair person, and yeah, it did cost. There was a certain cost involved with that.
What step were you on?
Well, when I was a local, I was like on the second step. Unless somebody stepped out, then I could step up to the top step. As a broker, of course, you're on the top step.
Yeah.
And that's really where I think my time frame got a lot longer when I was a filling broker because legally I couldn't trade the S&Ps, so I traded the NASDAQ using text messages to a friend of mine who was a broker in the NASDAQ. So I'd text message, hey, sell me one around here and put in a stop, and he'd tell me I was filled and send me the card by runner, and he would work the stop and work the profit. But on the way up in the NASDAQ, all you had to do was wait for it to break and buy it. You were relatively sure that you were going to be able to take a profit by the end of the session. I mean, that was the tech bubble. All you had to do was buy it.
That's not the case today?
No.
No.
No,
Do you use the correlations of the NASDAQ at all?
No, not really. Not really.
No.
No, I mean, I know that they're very related, but they do paint different stories. The NASDAQ is in the longer time frame, NASDAQ is much more range bound than the S&P. Now the S&P is still range bound in short time frame, but looking at the daily chart, this is a pretty decent move to the upside here. We're struggling here, but if we were to look at the NASDAQ, here's the daily.
Yeah, the Dow's up 1.5%, NASDAQ's up 1%, and the ESs are up 1.3%.
Right there.
YM is outperforming.
Yeah, it's up 508. That's the amount of points that the 87 crash was to the downside. It was 504 or 508 points.
Just on a percentage basis, it was
Much deeper, right?
quite a jolt to the system.
Yes, it was.
So Cat and Boeing must be very strong, is what I'm guessing.
Well,
I was in the first paintball event, and one of my competitors in it was a floor trader. He was a young guy, but he was a floor trader, and he did very well. And it was the first paintball contest was kind of like who would succeed in a paintball contest, a floor trader, a Vietnam vet, which I was, a forester. We had a forester. It all started from a big argument that the three of us had in a living room. And I'm saying, I was in Vietnam. I'd win that thing. I'd
Sure.
marry you guys.
Sure.
Blah blah blah.
Sure.
After about 5 scotches. And so out of that came the first paintball event. And we had a professional turkey hunter from Georgia. We had Vietnam vet, a couple of them, a couple of us. We had a forester, we had a floor trader, and we had about 15, 16 guys that were all from different disciplines that all claimed that their particular specialty would win the contest.
And who won?
The forester won.
Ah.
And we got written up in Sports Illustrated, and if you Google it, there's all kinds of information on the first contest.
Huh. I had a personal performance coaching client who was a professional paintballer.
Aha.
It's some good stories. Very.
One of the contestants, two of them got together and put together a company that sold the equipment.
Ah, okay.
And they did very well for a while, and I think someone bought them out.
So now they're sitting on a beach somewhere.
Exactly.
Nice job.
One was a professional. He wrote. I think it's Pumping Iron. The Arnold Schwarzenegger. He wrote. We had a.
Oh yeah, it was like a documentary.
Pumping Iron.
Huh.
Yeah, he was in it. Charles Gaines. He was one of the contestants.
What year was this?
Oh, 1980, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe late 70s.
Late 70s, 80.
I was still in high school.
Oh, it was in the 80s.
Yeah, I started school in 83 and started working on the trading floor in 83. So that really was the first contest, wasn't it, Joe?
Yeah. And from that, it just took off.
Boy, it sure did, didn't it? We used to
Sports
go.
Illustrated did an article on us. And
Huh.
NPR did an interview with us here a couple of years ago. They came around and
Wow.
did an interview with all those that are still alive.
Haven't been shot yet.
Yeah, right. Look at this market.
I know, just nonstop. Just
Whoever
keep.
would have thought? I'm coming into today saying we're going to see a continuation of that big sell-off that we had at the end of the day Friday. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Shows you how much I know.
Well, we rejected the late spike. We got into it, but we rejected it.
That's why you've got to throw out all your hypotheses and biases when that bell rings.
Uh-huh. Well, at least one of them should ring true, and if it rings true, you trade to that hypothesis, which would have had us rejecting lower prices and looking for continuation to the upside. Didn't expect this. But
Open mind.
as we always say, Joe, ECH, anything can happen.
You got it. And keep an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
I had along and basically got out at Friday's high. So I don't, I don't feel fear of missing out. Like I left something on the table because that was the plan. But I'm just surprised at how much it's just continued to go. We've got, what are we doing as far as Delta's concerned? 1,800 positive now. It's negative all day long as the market continued to push higher. That's gonna push short time frame traders into short positions, and I think that's why we're continuing this move.
Well, I keep an anchored VWAP from the first CPI. That was a big volume event back on 11/10.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kept every PPI, every CPI. I think that was the only CPI, FMOC, you name it, all the big volume events, and we're above those anchored VWAPs right now, which is pretty bullish. The other thing is that on the gamma levels that we've been talking about. There's a big gamma level called the vol trigger. And to keep it on the SPX. And it came right down, found support at that level today and bounced. That's a major gamma level where the nature of the options at that level will cause a major sell-off if you hold below it. And if you hold above it, it's a positive, and that's what we've done today.
So no more shorts.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, so JP Morgan, CPI prints 6.9% or lower could be the technical end of the bear market, putting this latest rally at more than 20% off its lows.
Okay, so that's what's causing it.
Mm-hmm. And now that
Okay.
came out much earlier. I'm just getting it now, of course.
Well, that kind of accounts for this. We broke the initial balance at 11 o'clock, and we've been going up since then. It hasn't even challenged the balance.
Now they're expecting 7.3 year-over-year CPI tomorrow on the list that I'm looking at right now.
And that's below what we printed the last time?
7.7 last time.
Oh, okay. That's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So we're running a few stops here right now. All those stops underneath this big move.
Underneath, right. Finally starting to get long. We have two early MOC imbalances, 62 million to the buy side. I was saying we were probably a little too early to really look for a short in a day like today.
Especially with MOC coming.
Mm-hmm. Beaks gave...
The first swing I would be looking at would be 15. If we break 15, 15 and a half.
Come back to it, look for a short.
And then come back to it. That might be... There's another one that's less risk, which is down here near the regular trading hour high, which is around a swing around 9:10. That definitely would be a good one, and it falls out of a distribution up here that's between 14 and the high of the day. There's a big distribution. So if we fall out of that we could get a stop run at the end of the day.
Lower.
Yeah.
This low
We've got a lot of profits here since
oh yeah.
11 o'clock, so the market will seek those out at some point, I would think. Let's see what Bookmap looks like. Heavy liquidity at 15.
That's your just line in the sand right there, right?
Yeah.
Vince is saying that Clarence Beeks gave him the report already. Yeah, a nice low volume node here too, just below 15.
Right, that's the end of that upper distribution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I have the beginning of a LVN at 14 and a half-ish to
Mm-hmm.
11-ish, 11, 12, which
Yep.
marks the lower end of this upper distribution.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of a low participation make HOAG money today. We had one loss and it just keeps on grinding higher. We'll see what we come up here with in the last 15 minutes. But don't forget about tomorrow's make HOAG money. Isn't right after the forecast. It's at 9:30 with Anne Marie Band. Looking forward to it. Should be a good one.
If we break this swing that we just put in, you could see an acceleration of the downside, the 15 level. But I'm not.
Now, when you're talking about swings, you're in a pretty short time frame chart there, right?
Yeah,
Right here, like a 1 minute.
yeah.
It's almost like a little head and shoulders we've got going here, doesn't it?
I drill down even more than that.
Yeah. Like a tick chart.
Yeah.
$2,000?
Oh no.
A little smaller than that.
Oh yeah, 133.
Oh my goodness. I can't look at that. It'll give me heart palpitations.
I mean, I do look at a 1 minute too. I'm flashing back and forth, and I'm looking at the book map, looking at levels there too, looking at those distribution levels.
Next minute.
Like on my book map, that same level shows up pretty well, that 15 level.
Uh-huh.
There's a good level of inventory there at that 15 level. Found support there a couple times.
Mhm.
If it breaks it, you could see a flush.
We want
I'm not going to play it this late in the day, especially with MOC coming up. But it kind of helps me to narrate these things
to. Sure.
in my mind. If this, then that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's good accountability too, and all these when everybody's watching.
Absolutely. Okay, there's my alert for the MOC. 1 minute. Good level at 15. Sometimes there's spoofers.
Yep.
Pull it at the last second, and then you see the flush.
Ocean Blue. I'm not a rock star. Maybe at one point in my past, but nobody can do that. Nobody can just make a call and find direction. Maybe earlier in the session, but we did catch a nice move to the upside today. But I'm saying I think my win-loss ratio is about 55%.
Okay, here's the MOC. The last reveal of the MOC is right at 350.
Here we go.
250 central.
Here we go.
Okay, looks like the algos, we got an algo bracket just appeared.
Just going to bounce it back and forth.
Got a lot of liquidity at 15 to 16. Checking it out now.
410 million to the sell side. Small today.
They're trading that liquidity. They're not pulling it.
Uh-huh.
And the algo brackets are, thick above and below.
So we're probably just going to bounce back and forth between those levels for the algos, right?
Yeah, unless if they get directional, they'll push it up or push it down. You see the liquidity pushing it up or pushing it down. It's obviously staying the same here right now. Okay, they're trading the lower liquidity. And the upper liquidity is pushing it down. So it looks like we might be going through here.
Do we want to take this if we get a pullback to this swing low? Take a short?
Yeah. Try it.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Yeah, I'd like to see it go through it with conviction and then come back to it and short it. I don't like playing with the algos when they're active. When you flush through them, they tend to disappear, and then you can trade normally back to that resistance and take a trade. They're very active. They're bracketing this whole area.
Just picking pockets here.
Exactly. Nickels and dimes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever trade that way in the pit?
That's how I learned. I mean, that's what the prop firm that hired me said. Just go in there and buy the bid, sell the offer. If you can't sell the offer, buy the bid. If you can't buy the offer, can't sell the offer, sell the bid. Just get in there and trade and develop a sense. Didn't work for me all that well. Wasn't until I've discovered the profile. It lengthened my time frame a little bit.
Yeah. And trading the extremes.
Yep.
Liquidity at 19. Algos are still active. They're pushing it up now.
Wow, yeah, look at that delta. All of a sudden. Yep, 33, 3,400. Just all at the end of the day here. Well, we're going to have a fun couple of days here, fellow traders. CPI tomorrow.
And Anne Marie.
Anne Marie tomorrow. Yep. FOMC tomorrow. And big data dump on Thursday. Gonna be a good one.
Ice blue still long?
I don't know. Ocean Blue, you in?
Ocean blue.
trade in. He sees that liquidity on a tool called Bookmap. He showed us what day was that, Joe?
Last week, one day.
It was
Might
late.
have been a week ago today.
Week ago today, I think. Yeah, you may be right. If you look back on YouTube, look for the session a week ago from today, you'll see that that book map. He gave us an example of it a week ago today. Ocean Blue, I see the MOC numbers after they come out on Financial Juice.
Just Google Bookmap, go on YouTube and I think it's bookmaptrader.com if you want to go to the website. I use the Thinkorswim free version, what I use. It's a scaled down skeleton. They don't have all the bells and whistles that if you subscribe to it on Bookmap.
Ocean Blue says he only scalping based on Lacey's barking. Boy, oh boy, just pushing to the highs. Vince, looks like you're right. We may be finishing with a late spike to the upside. That could give us some interesting context for tomorrow morning. Well, that's going to probably do it for us. Joe, thanks as always for helping out with your participation today. So looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow for Make HOAG Money with Anne-Marie Band. It should be a good one.
Looking forward to it.
See you all on the recap today if you want to join. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Hey,
Trade
thank you.
well, everyone.